Welcome to Focus on the Falls. I'm John Mercure. We've got a great show. I'm so excited to dive into this topic. You can see we have a lot of guests. This is going to be a lot of fun. We are talking about the academies and academy learning here at the high school and in the district. This is going to be such good stuff. Let me introduce who we have here, and then we'll dive into the conversation. Chelsey Fredrich is here right to my left. She is the Career Academy Coordinator. And then we have 5 students, 3 seniors, 2 juniors. I'm going to introduce you guys, and then we'll get into the questioning. Right next to Chelsey is Jonathan Kniech, Business Academy Senior. Olivia Schendel then is Design, Communication, and Media Academy. She is a junior. So is Gabrielle Merlock, who is next to her in the Educator Academy. Then it's Dylan Luckmann. How you doing, Dylan? Okay. Healthcare Academy Senior. And Morgan Becker is in the STEM Academy. I'm so glad you guys are here. This is going to be fun. Chelsey, I want to start with you. Give us an overview of the Academy learning model and process. What makes it work? Why is it so special?
Sure. The academies are based off of 4 key elements: required coursework, service, career-based learning experiences, and then a capstone project. So I believe in 2004 is when the vision had started. They started learning about this kind of model, and then it really came to life in 2011. Sandy Swanson was our school to work coordinator at the time. And then Keith Marty, I think, was the superintendent. Mm-hmm. And so they kind of brought this to life and started the first academy, which was the Healthcare Academy. And then based on the success of that program, we followed suit with business, STEM, design, communication, and media, and then now Educator Academy. So it's really cool because the students have set required coursework that kind of leads them down each of the pathways. They do a bunch of community service. They are in co-curricular connections. They do job shadowing, and all of this really helps lead them down what they might want to do in their future after high school.
It's so cool because it's a lot different than a conventional classroom. Does it allow the student to dive deeper into a given area?
Yeah, so they'll learn more about the occupations in those certain industries, the skills necessary to work in the future in there. They learn more specifically through the coursework about varying things and what it takes to really get there, and the employment, the education, things like that they would need if they end up being interested in that industry or career pathway.
So there can be value in learning what you want to do and ruling that in and giving you more depth and information. There can also be value if you can rule something out, right? So if they can think, well, maybe I want to be in the healthcare field, and then they get in the academy, they can realize that, maybe I'm being led a different direction. Can it also help rule things out?
Absolutely. And that's very huge for the students as well because especially with talking, for example, about healthcare, a lot of healthcare degrees you need to go to school for 4 to 10 years after. And so really figuring that out before choosing workforce, college, or even the military really helps ahead of time to probably save you time and money, at least for one pathway out of high school. So that really helps to solidify what you might want to do or might not want to do ahead of time.
That's a great point. We're talking about the academy learning model here and Focus on the Falls. Jonathan, want to ask you a couple questions. How's the tennis game?
Good. We're killing it.
I want to ask you, you're a business academy guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when people ask you about being part of the business academy learning model, what do you tell them makes it unique? Why do you like it?
I'd say the most unique part is the store that we run at the school. It's completely student run with the help of great and wonderful Miss Hughes. So I'm a manager of that, so we actually have paid managers. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. We have every student involved. I think we have 55 this year.
Wow.
We run it, we design the merchandise, we order it, we do everything in the business. And it's such a great learning experience because we're actually doing things in a business. We're running a business. Things that a lot of high school students wouldn't be able to do, we're able to do. We have a great partnership with Burkhart, so we were able to go out there a couple weeks ago and visit them, see how everything gets made, all of our merchandise, meet our wonderful representatives, all sorts of stuff like that normally people wouldn't be able to do in a high school setting.
So like you're actually involved in budgeting and marketing and setting things up and display. Your team does all of that?
Yeah, so we have 4 different teams. So we have a financial team. We created detailed financial statements for every part of the business. We have a marketing team who creates marketing posts for when we get new merchandise in or promotions. We also have a human resources team, so they're kind of managing the schedule and all sorts of other things in the business. And then we have a merchandising team, so they order the things, they make sure the store looks nice, and they do a lot of behind-the-scenes work.
So, Olivia, you are involved in communication, media, design. How did you decide to get involved in the academy?
Well, I always have known that I loved art, and the Falls has a ton of really good art classes, especially compared to a lot of other schools. And in this academy, there are certain strands. So there's the design, the communications, and the media.
So those are like pathways, the strands are
Yeah.
different pathways you focus on?
Yeah, so I'm in the design branch, which is really cool because there's like graphic design and photography, and I have always really loved both of those.
Yeah.
So I wanted to delve deeper into that.
So is it what you expected that it would be? Is it different in some ways? What do you think now that you're involved in the academy?
There definitely are a lot more like creative blocks that I've had, just with like a lot of like the very specific projects that we have to complete. But I think that's helped me grow more as an artist too, so that's good.
Gabrielle, tell me about the academy that you're involved with.
So I'm in the Educator Academy, and as it sounds like we're the future educators, right? And we're the newest academy, so
You're like the little baby on the block.
yeah, we don't have a lot of members. Most of our time has been spent in our classes learning about education, how to be a good educator, and what the different roles in education are. But we've also had the opportunity to tutor and shadow a lot of other teachers in the district. We've gone to the elementary schools as well as North during our
cool.
time period, so that's been really fun.
So how is it to be on the ground level? You're like part of starting something and building something that in the district will have a lot of success down the road. How cool is that to be involved now?
That was actually part of the reason I joined. I really wanted to be like the part of the start of this academy. It's been super fun. I love getting to experience all of the new things and giving feedback to my teachers like, hey, this thing didn't work and this thing did work, and it's super fun.
All right, Dylan, so if she's the baby of the family, you're like in the granddaddy of the family because you're in the healthcare academy.
Yeah.
Tell us why you chose the academy path.
Well, I chose the academy path because my freshman year, I really was unsure of what I wanted to go into. And there are a bunch of different classes that you can take freshman year that kind of do very surface level into each of the different career pathways. And I ended up taking one of the healthcare classes and really enjoyed it and just decided this is what I'll try out. Like, I kind of want to see if I like it. And I ended up really liking healthcare, and that is the field I now want to go into.
So I was going to ask you how it's helped you focus on what you want to do when you're done with high school and done with college. How'd the healthcare the academy help you sharpen your focus?
It really helped me sharpen my focus because you're around a bunch of people who want to go into very similar stuff, or at least who had interest in that similar stuff. So we're all doing things that are healthcare based, and we have found out there's so much more to healthcare than most people even realize. Like, it's not all blood and needles. There's
goodness.
business sides of healthcare, there's research sides of healthcare, there's the actual patient interaction, and we've been able to learn and each figure out what type of healthcare we want to go into.
So were you part of partnerships in the community throughout your time in the academy?
It's been really hard the last 3-4 years because of COVID.
Yeah.
And so we start our academies our sophomore year, and that is unfortunately when COVID shut everything down. But in years past before that, there has been a lot of like community like interactions with healthcare students and nearby businesses.
Yeah, and hopefully we get back to that soon. All right, Morgan, there's a lot that's been written about young women being involved in STEM, and we have this academy that focuses that for young men and women in our district. Tell us about your experience with the STEM Academy.
So yeah, there's actually a lot of girls in our STEM class this year, more than years past actually. My experience is that we divide into groups in our STEM capstone based on what type of engineering or science or computer science you want to go into. And my group was actually the NASA group. So we competed in a drone competition where we were responsible for like creating a mission plan to like mock the Terminus mission. We coded and did sensors for a drone, and then we went and competed at the Pfizer like a couple weeks ago actually.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and we got our scores back like today and saw like where we placed and everything, which was really interesting because then we're able to model like a plus delta for the feedback for the students who want to participate next year.
I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds really, really cool. It's amazing. Do you feel like you really get to, because of the academy learning environment, do things at a different level than if you were in a conventional classroom?
Yeah. We collaborate in groups, or you can, if you have your own ideas, they help you create those and bring them to life. So there's one girl in my class right now that's actually getting the funding and everything to create rain gardens over at Ben Franklin, which was really interesting because then we all walked over there and saw where she was putting them, and then she told us about them. We also had one group create a scooter for a special needs kid in one of the gym classes, which was really interesting and collaborative with other members of their school.
It's so cool because it's a lot of collaboration. Is there camaraderie with you guys within people in your academy? Do you feel a connection because you're working with people who are interested in the area that you're in?
I would say definitely, like, especially in Business Academy, we have classes with people for 3 or 4 years straight, the same group of people. So you're working with these people for almost your entire high school career, and you really get to know some of them really well. And some people that you wouldn't normally meet, you meet and become great friends with, and great collaboration.
Chelsey, how does it make you feel when you listen to the students talk about their experiences with the academy?
I think it's great to see. This is my 3rd year, so a lot of them as sophomores I've got to see through to senior year, and I think it's great to see that they have grown and developed and started making their own decisions for their future and where they want to be. I think it's great that they've persevered through COVID and still found a way to do some of the things that we normally do that we couldn't have 2 years ago. So I think just seeing them grow and figure out their future is really rewarding, and I hope they feel the same.
They do. You can tell listening to them. So our 2 juniors, Olivia and Gabrielle, what does the next year look like? Do you ramp up the amount of academy focus that you have? Will it be different because the world's opening up, hopefully? What do the next couple of years look like, do you think?
So our capstone is senior year for both of us, I believe. And it'll be the first year that we have the Educator Academy capstone. So that's like super exciting for me. I'm also working with a job that I got through the academy like this summer for our school district. So like that'll be a really good experience, and then I'll get to take that into my senior year. So
you're going to run the district? Is that what's going to happen?
No, I'm working at summer school this summer. So
oh, that's very cool. So the summer academy, you're going to be involved with that. What does the future look like for you?
So I was able to take an AP art class this year. I took AP photography, so that was really cool. And then there are multiple AP capstone classes for art. So I'm taking AP 2D design next year. And then we're getting some new art classes next year too.
Oh, that's
so I'm
fun.
taking a new one next year.
Okay, so let me ask you a photography question. I have this debate all the time with my team at work. The phones we have take such good pictures. Is it amazing, and how does that compare to if you're using a conventional like SLR camera, the big kind of camera that we see people walking around with?
Well, I don't have one of the better cameras. Or one of the better phone cameras. I have my own camera. So I'm not sure.
Do you feel like you can really create, talk about how creative photography is as a form of art?
Well, I love it because you can use Photoshop to make such cool surrealism pieces too. And just by playing with the brightness or the contrast or just the colors or filters on a piece, you can make it all come together even when the original photos don't look like they could.
Yeah, it's like magic almost. Seniors, what are you guys going to do? I guess I'll start right here with you, Jonathan. Where are you going to school? What's your future?
Next year I'll be attending the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
That's great.
Majoring in finance and accounting at the honors school.
Wow, congratulations. That's pretty cool. How did you choose to go there?
It was the cheapest.
That's a real factor.
I got into every honors program there. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. So right away you were admitted into that stuff? Mm-hmm. What role did the Business Academy here at the high school play in making sure you were prepared and able to get into that sort of thing?
A huge part. Actually, as one of our field trips, we went and visited, and I got to meet with the undergrad recruitment coordinator. So I got to know him very well, and I had multiple meetings with him and conversations. So that really swayed my decision.
And your parents, I bet, are happy because you're going to be in the area.
They are very happy.
Dylan, what's going to be going on with you?
I will be attending the University of Wisconsin-Madison next year.
That's great.
And I will be studying nursing on a pre-medical route.
Wow, that's fantastic. So what does that mean? What would you like to do as we sit here right now, eventually?
Eventually down the road, I'm really interested in orthopedic surgery.
Wow.
So it's a lot of schooling in my future if I decide to fully go that route, but the academy has let me know that I want to go into healthcare of some sorts, and I found that out before high school.
So I kind of have an
Before college.
Achilles thing going on. Can you look at this maybe after the taping?
Yeah,
and
maybe
help me
not
with
yet.
that? Check that out just a little bit, maybe, please. Morgan, what are you going to be doing?
I'll be attending the University of Wisconsin-Madison also, into
Great
the
school.
engineering school.
Wow.
Yeah.
How'd you decide Madison?
My sister is actually attending Madison right now, and I've kind of like fell in love with the campus. But I also did a job shadow through STEM Capstone with someone who graduated as an environmental engineer there, and got like the insight onto the classes and like what I'm gonna need help with, what I'm gonna like need to do to be successful.
So will your sister still be there when you get there?
Yes.
That makes my heart happy that you want to go there despite the fact that your sister's going to be there. The academy, Morgan, did that academy learning help you be prepared for what you want to do?
Absolutely. I've taken classes that involved CAD software, which is huge in college, with like Inventor and different areas. Like I've taken coding classes to get that basic knowledge also, because you can't just have a normal MacBook as an engineering major. You have to have a PC. So it helped me get both sides of the computer.
Dylan, you sound like you really have the path picked out. Talk about the role of the academy and the learning process and model here at the high school that helped you.
Well, my freshman year, I really had no idea what I wanted to go into, and the academies allowed me to choose a branch of like what I want to go into in the future, and being able to choose healthcare and figure that out during high school allowed me to realize I still want to go into this, whereas earlier, if I would not have gone into an academy and just kind of gone just general high school classes, I would have ended up going into college and then spending all that time, all that money, only to realize, hey, I didn't want to do this. Or, yes, I still want to do this, but I was able to figure out early on.
Chelsey, are there plans for future academy growth? I mean, we just launched a new academy, so it's probably not fair to ask you, but are you guys always evaluating?
I think it's good to evaluate every year just to see where the industries grow, where there's a need, where we might not fit some students, but every student is different and unique what they might want to do. So we do offer a ton of courses here that we can try to make their own little academy on the side if maybe they want to be a lawyer or something like that. But I think reevaluating, the growth and decline of certain industries or jobs is always something that we can look into. I'm not aware of any new academies on the horizon.
You would tell us if you knew, wouldn't you? Between us?
I would, but I'm not that I'm aware of.
How exciting is it that some of your little birds are getting ready to fly out of the nest?
It's very, very exciting. I think I actually went to Menominee Falls High School and graduated from here, and this was not around when I was in high school, and I think that it's great, especially even if, some students who don't end up going into healthcare or business or any of the academies, I've noticed that they still like to stay involved because there are so many opportunities that you do get, and there are a lot of friendships created. So even if they're like, yeah, healthcare is not for me, they still choose to stay in the academy, which is great. But I think, these seniors will do great in college, and the juniors, I think, will have a lot of shoes to fill, but I think as they grow, they have found a lot more opportunities and are really branching off and doing their own thing. So
Chelsey Fredrich is the Career Academy Coordinator. Jonathan Kniech, Olivia Schendel, Gabrielle Merlock, Dylan Luckmann, and Morgan Becker. Good luck on everything. Thank you so much for joining us at Focus on the Falls.
Thank you.
Thank you.